Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we're answering a couple of questions. The first one being, what unique commander should I pick up first? Well, the answer to that one is a little bit more nuanced than, oh, this guy's very good or this guy's very good. It's more of how many ships do you have of said nation, and also what ships do you have, because certain unique commanders, their traits are more aligned to, one or two classes here or there. But there are a couple that do work quite well across just about every class in the game. There's one unique commander who works very well across every single friggin' class in this game, and that is, of course, Gunther Lutjens, which is absolutely the first commander I would suggest you guys get, especially if you have a lot of German premium and reward ships, special ships, whatever you want to call them. So we're going to take a look at Lutjens today and his traits and how good he is on each class in the game. And also we're answering another question about, what should I get first? Insert premium ship here or Lutjens? So let's go ahead and go over his commander skills. Well, his personalized talents, I guess, is what they're called now. I think they used to be like special attributes or something like that in the past, but they keep changing these guys' names too. First they were legendary commanders, now they're unique commanders. But whatever. Unique commanders is what we'll roll with right now because that's what they're called at the moment. So Lutjens has quite a lot of unique abilities here, and he is probably, out of the ones available at the current moment, one of the easiest commander to pop his special talents. So the first one that he has is main battery loader, and this works by you getting 140 main battery shell hits on the target. And once you do that, your main battery reload time gets cut down by 7.5%. Now, if you think about that, 140 main battery shell hits. You know what's real easy to get 140 main battery shell hits with? Well, ships like the Hindenburg, ships like the, what was the tier 10 DDZ-52, ships like the ZF-6, if you manage to pick that up in Dockyard, ships like the I've always talked about this ship, why can't I remember her name all of a sudden? The Mites, very easy to get 140 main battery hits with that. Even the Prince Eugen, if you have a game where your gun's just always freaking singing, not that hard to do. The only one that's really difficult to do with would be like battleships, of course. I've managed to get it like one time in Scharnhorst because 9 guns, 20-second reload, but that wasn't a game that was definitely out of the normal. So just right there, it's a super easy skill to pop, especially in like the Hindenburg, the tier 10 German heavy cruiser. It is incredibly easy to pop, so you need a 7.5% boost to your main battery reload time on top of that, so that's freaking great. His second unique talent is secondary battery loader, and this has to be the easiest unique commander skill to pop besides freaking Kuznetsov's Will to Victory skill. So all you have to do to get this secondary battery loader skill to pop is get 100 secondary hits. That's it. 100 secondary hits. That's all you gotta do. And we have the Schlieffen now. A ship that it's beyond easy to get at least like 400 or 500 secondary hits with its secondaries. So yeah, look at all the German battleships. The GK, the Prussia. If you want a secondary build her, I wouldn't really recommend it, but you could do it. The Palmer, the Tirpitz, the Bismarck, the FDG, so forth and so on. Even the Graf Zeppelin. This is a skill I pop fairly easily in the Graf Zeppelin. You get a 15% boost to your secondary battery reload time. So add that on top of the boost you get from manual fire for secondaries, the secondary modules. Good God, it gets quite silly when this talent gets popped off. Again, in Schlieffen, this is how you see a lot of those replays where players get like 700, 800, 1,000 secondary battery hits in Schlieffen. It's because they got Lutjens on there. There's absolutely just tweaking out with their secondaries. So absolutely great. But that's not it. He's got more skills. He's got more talents, I mean. He also has the Aerial Equipment Expert. And what this does is once you hit enemy ships 30 times with any aircraft armament, that speeds up the preparation of your aircraft squadrons by 10%. And this is something that's, again, really easy to do. There's 30 hits with any aircraft armament, including rocket planes. And with the German AP rockets right now, they have a much shorter firing delay than the HE rockets. So it's incredibly easy just to, if you really want to, farm those rocket hits, and then boom, now your planes are regenerating faster. And this is something that's helped out the Graf Zeppelin a lot, which is oftentimes quoted as being one of the worst carriers in the game, if not the worst. And yeah, it is, but it's kind of a meme ship. But this helps out the Graf Zeppelin a lot. So you can imagine it on like the Max Immelmann, the Richthofen, so forth and so on. Again, it's a really easy skill to pop too, and you get a pretty darn nice advantage with that boost to your plane's regeneration time. Then finally, his last special talent is Resilient. And for this, you have to spot 3 enemy ships, so you get three spotting ribbons, and then your ship gets a free heal. Now, it's not a big heal, it's like a baby heal. It's 300 HP per second on the... I've got Lutjens when I'm looking at this currently on the GK. So it is, again, relative to the tier of your ship. So, you know, obviously if you have this on a lower tier ship, it's not going to run for as long, but if it's on a higher tier ship, you get more of a heal out of it. And again, it's not like a major heal. I think it's even less than Kuznetsov's heal, but you can do it over and over and over again. It's not like a one-off pop like the Aerial Equipment Expert, the Secondary Battery Loader, or the Main Battery Loader. You can do this repeatedly over and over and over again. And you might have seen replays of people cheesing this in like Graf Zeppelin, because this is ridiculously easy to pop in CVs. So in like Graf Zeppelin, which is a CV that you can be more aggressive with it because you have the secondaries. I'm not saying go throw your Graf Zeppelin in the front of the pushing flank or anything like that, but you can definitely play it much closer, because you know if any DD or cruiser gets in your secondary battery range, they are going to get freaking shredded. So you can have this on Graf Zeppelin, be cheesy with it, go spot 3 ships with your planes, and then poof, you get a free heal. Now obviously with destroyers and cruisers, this is a fairly easy talent to pop too. So right off the bat, just these 4 talents, they're incredibly easy to pop. They give you some pretty darn big advantages, and there's more. So he also has some improved skills as well. He has an improved preventive maintenance skill, which gives you an improved 45% reduction to the chance of your models becoming incapacitated, which in German battleships and German ships in general, the torpedo tubes, I don't know what it is. The German naval engineers, they armor their secondaries to no end, because if you've ever noticed, like other ships' secondary mounts, especially like the French, they get knocked out the second you sneeze on them. But the German secondary guns, especially if you build into them with the module, they can eat like an 18-inch shell and not give a crap. And this further decreases the chance of the torpedoes becoming incapacitated, because those get incapacitated even with the skill, unfortunately, way too easily. It's always when you really need them to. Like when you're pulling up next to a ship to throw some torps on their side, then suddenly, poof, your torpedoes are gone. It never fails, and this reduces that from happening, thankfully. Then he also has an improved Grease the Gears skill that gives you a 25% buff to your turret's 180 time. Well, traverse speed, which cuts down your 180 time, depending on how you want to word it. Which this is very, very nice to have in ships like the Hindenburg, because Hindenburg, the way you play her, you know, most of the time you're running, maneuvering a lot, trying to avoid getting shot, and having turrets that can keep up with your ship's maneuvering is very, very useful. This applies to destroyers too, especially with the German DD split. The heavy destroyers, or small light cruisers, depending upon what you want to do with them, sorry, how you want to call them, their turrets aren't really that fast, and having this skill that buffs them up even, that rotation time up even more, is a big pickup for them to have here. Battleships too, in brawling situations with what the main line is meant for, the line, well, the Prussia line, I was going to say the GK line, having quicker turrets when you're in a brawling situation, that can be the difference between you surviving and you being the Blappy or you being the Blapper. That can be the difference there. If you're in a tight situation, you need those turrets to turn, you definitely want to have that happen. And with the battle cruiser line too, of course, those ships are very maneuverable. You don't want to be outmaneuvering your turrets when you really need them, so that's very nice to have as well. And of course, he also gets the broad pennant, which you'll see on all the ships in this video, because they should have Lutjens on them. You can use the colored shell tracers if you want to. I don't. I just don't like the way they look. I just stick with the normal tracers. And of course, you will see the signal flare that is popped when you activate those skills. Now, you can of course remove all of those if you want to. I have the tracers removed, but if you want to put on the red tracers, of course, go ahead. This is just my personal preference. So what does this do to the various classes? Well, we kind of touched on that here. 140 main battery hits. Super easy to get on destroyers. Even with the split. They have a longer reload time, but their guns are so freaking accurate. You can easily do that. And think about that with the split DDs. Those guns, with their insane AP pins, with a 7.5% boost to their reload time on top of Adrenaline Rush, and also having the resilient talent, where when you're on those split DDs, you get that free heal, and they don't get a heal. And on a DD, this little heal that may, give you a little bit of health back on like the GK, on those DDs, it's a big pickup. And of course, same goes for the mainline DDs as well. You get a boost to your gun DPM. Again, cruisers, that's insanely easy to get on the German cruisers, especially again with the Hindenburg. So any type of boost to your DPM is crazy. Secondary battery loader, again, super easy to pop on the mainline German BBs and the battle cruisers. It's insane what you can do with that skill. Like I already talked about with the aerial equipment expert, very easy to pop on CVs, and again the resilient skill. It's just a big pickup all the way across all the classes. It's so easy to pop all these skills. Again, compare them to like some of the other unique commanders. When they first started these unique commanders out with like Yamamoto, his skills are insane, but they're also incredibly difficult to pop. Like his second wind talent, which gives you this insane super heal that regenerates like I think 2/3 of your ship's health over the course of like 2 or 3 minutes. It's an insane boost. You get an insane buff to the reload time of your main battery guns, but you have to get a Kraken to get it, which doesn't happen every game. Everything you see here that we've gone through with Lutjens can easily happen every single game. Now, too, the other question that we get with Lutjens is, when should I get him? Should I get this premium ship, or this premium ship first, then should I get Lutjens? Well, truth to be told, a lot of the German premiums, they've been around for a very long time. They haven't really shown any indication of them getting removed. So I don't think any of these ships are going to get removed in the future. Like the Palmer's been out forever now. They haven't even made any whispers about it being removed yet. The GK is a new premium ship, and it's definitely not going anywhere because it's an old tech line ship, so it's going to stay in the shop for forever. I think it's safe to say that go ahead, pick up Lutjens, because not only is he very good on premium ships, he's great on tech line ships too. Because I mean, the big deal is that if you have a bunch of premium ships with Lutjens, you can leave the same build on him for like the German battleships. You can leave the secondary build on him. You move from the Tirpitz to the Palmer to the GK and all in between. As long as they're premium ships, you don't have to pay to retrade them, which is a huge pickup for unique commanders and premium ships. Now, of course, with tech line ships, you got to pay to move them around, but again, for the most part, the build should be the same, especially on the main line. German ships, except for the Prussia. I would go with the main battery build, and like I don't put Lutjens on Prussia because I don't use the secondaries on them nearly as much, because again, building the main battery guns there, so I have a separate commander just for Prussia now that I'm working up to 21 points. Now again, for the cruisers too, we don't have a German light cruiser line yet, so again, you can have the same build on him and just keep moving him around the cruisers. Now, of course, there's a lot less German premium cruisers than there are premium battleships, but still, the builds will essentially work. I mean, they may not be as tuned as they could be, but you can go with one general cruiser build, and it'll work across all the German cruisers, except for, like, the Mainz, because it's technically a light cruiser, but, like, from Hindenburg to Rhone to Hipper, it should work. And even from like Hindenburg to Prince Eugen, it'll work. Again, it may not be the best that it can be, but do you really want to pay either, what is it, for a 21-point commander, 210,000 elite commander XP or 525 doubloons to retrain him just to respec one skill? It's good enough to where it'll work. But I mean, if you want to respec him, be my guest. I'm just saying you don't have to. So absolutely, Lutjens is probably the first commander you should pick up, especially if you got a lot of German ships, especially if you have a lot of German premium ships. Pick up this man first for your first unique commander. He does cost 175,000 coal, so that is quite a dent in your coal reserves, and it will take you some time to get that coal back. But I mean, the benefits you get from this man, it's definitely worth it. And again, the only deciding factor for me between, get him first or get this ship first is, are any of the ships in threat of being removed? If the answer is no, then yeah, pick him up first, because you can instantly make use of him even on your tech line ships. And then over the course of your time with World Warships, you can start picking up the premium ships for coal, like Pommern and GK, so forth and so on. And again, this man works fantastically well on tech line ships too, so he is absolutely what I think your first unique commander should be, because he can, again, he works so well on every single class in the game. The only thing he doesn't work well on is submarines, because he doesn't have any submarine skills besides, oh no, he has resilient, yeah, because you get a freaking free heal on a submarine if you throw this man on your sub, which would be pretty freaking stupid, because it's so easy to spawn in submarines too. So yeah, he even works well on submarines. But yeah, like, just looking at the other unique commanders too, like, don't get me wrong, they're great, they're fantastic, but Lutjens is just so good. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I just thought about doing these kind of in-depth reviews on the unique commanders because, like I said at the start of this video, so many of you guys have been asking me about Lutjens and, should I get this commander or this ship first? Let me know if you guys want more of these in the comments down below, and if so, which commander would you like me to go over next? And I'll be more than happy to go ahead and do that. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 35,000 subs, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.